So let's get started with our HTML tags. I have listed out all the tags which you can find at this URL, and I've grouped them according to their functionality. So here, the most common tags on top, there is paragraph, anchor, which is the link. So whenever you click on it, it will work as a link. The page break, the line break, BR is the line break. There are div and span, and there are headings, image to put in your images. SVG is a special form of image which just shows vectors, and then there are list items that you use, and HR as a horizontal rule line. So what we're trying to build, and you can put immediately online, is something like a resume. And this is a basic resume. It has a table kind of format, so nothing fancy. And there are like individual items. Will go through each of them. So it's a document, like you can design very quickly in Word, MS Word, a Word document. Similarly, the HTML, because of the genesis of HTML, it is supposed to mimic that of a Word document or an article. So let's fire up any online editor. So there are a lot of HTML editors. So you can just go into Google, type in HTML editor. And the first one will be W3 Schools. So let's go to our online editor, try it for yourself, and we'll come to this editor, which is where we will be doing our first HTML. So initially we have nothing, initially it's empty, and we can start with the heading. So I am putting my own name, and so that's my first heading. Once I run it, I get my name, and this is the first heading. Then I have this description, and this I can put in as a second heading. So I can use H2 here, H2 tag, pasting it, and slash H2. So this is my second line. So I have my first line, second line. Notice that the line break, even though I have broken the line after mtech, it doesn't show up. So here we'll use that page break, that line break dr tag. So notice that it also turns red if your tags are not properly placed, and it will come back to black once your tags are properly placed. So we've got two lines in. Now we have the summary and this document. So let's take that. Let's paste that in a p tag, a paragraph. So I'm putting this here, and at the end I'm closing it with a slash p tag. So here my summary goes as a part of it. So I don't want the summary to be there. I can cut that part out, and here I will take a h3 tag. So h1, h2, and now we have the h3. h3 is our summary tags. So nice. So I put all my tags in. So this is the h1, h2, and then h3. Now the image, we will be putting in the image soon, but let's keep going. So we have work experience, which is similar to summary, that it should be in h3. I can separate this by HR. We learned about the HR rule line, and let me put in the h3. So here I can paste the work experience and slash h3, close my h3. So now the rule, that horizontal rule, comes in, and then there is a work experience heading. After this, I can paste this entire experience. So let me copy that entire experience and paste it here. So ideally this should be in a paragraph. Let's put a P, because right now we are trying to put everything one after the other. So there can be a P over here. Now here we can see this, the first line is, we can try to make it italics. So if you refer to the document that I have created, in that formatting, there are all these types of tags which can use for formatting. So there is something to make it bold. Bold and strong will make it bold or strong. So both have the same effect. Then there is italic and phrase. There is I tag and the EM tag, which will just make it italics. There is an underline, which is the EU tag, which will underline the contents within that tag. And a block quote. So if you have a block quote, you can put it in block quote. There is the INS and the DEL tag, which is the insert and the delete word. And then there is a subscript and superscript. So SUB, SUP. So if you're using subscript, superscript text or subscript text, you can put it within the sub and sub tags. So in our case, we had a block quote, the beginning, that part, that was a block quote. So let's check what happens when I put it as a block quote. And also, so this is coming red because we are not closing the tag properly. So let's close it right. And we can run this thing. So now we see there is some left margin and the whole text shifts a little bit. So compared to the paragraph like this one, this is shifted a little bit. There is a left margin. Looks nice. So this principal consultant, this line, I can put it inside the I tag or the M tag, right? So we saw that I tag, we can make it so that I tag, see that it is italics, but this keeps on going. So it works like an inline. So we need to put the BR tag if we want to break up in the new line. And then this part was in bold, so we can cut it out. Put my bold tag and this bold tag, and there will be a BR as well. So let me make this a little bigger. Yeah, this is good. So, and finally we have the date. So in the date, we can make this, we will also have another BR here. So note that the space, so HTML is very not much, doesn't pay much attention to spaces. So if you have the space, remove the space, it will still be able to line things up properly. So we already have one of the work experiences in. So let's go to the next work experience. So this is also number 2, the second work experience. So similarly, we can keep repeating what we are doing. We put a paragraph first, then we paste our whatever we have got. We put a text material, and then we close the paragraph. If we run, everything is in line, so it just keeps running. So we have to split this up. The first part is italics. So here right now, sorry, we can cut this, Control X. Then instead of I, we can also have EM, which does the same thing. Italics / M, EM. So we get that italics founding member, that line. And then we break this. And this is bold or strong. So let's try the strong tag now. Strong tag, then what we had, and the strong tag. And let's make this, capitalize this thing, and have my BR, and the dates will be just a BR, and also 3 letters for the month. So we'll keep it consistent, and the BR. So now we have 3 lines and we have the experience and everything. So after this, let me just put, so you can keep adding more experiences. For now, I will just add a line. And also doing this now, we will also want to have some emojis just to have like star, what kind of experience we have got. So for that, I have the emoji, star emoji. So you can search for star emoji and copy one of these. So these are also HTML characters. You have HTML code which you can put in. So let me put this before this HR when we had the block quote. So let's have it inside our code group. So there is also a tag called code tag. So the special thing is that it will be monospace. So the font inside this is by default monospace. So if I have 5, and let me check, I am very good at HTML, CSS, and JS. So if I run this, check that these are monospace fonts. So similarly, you might also want to say about 4-star on something. Let's say MySQL, which I mentioned here. And let's say I am somewhat good at Python. So if I run these things, these are all lining up in the same, these are in line. So I'll just use my BR, and that last BR we can ignore. So this is how you have our stars. Now let's look at the next block. We have industrial training. So you can take this block, place it after the HR. So even if I leave out lines, HTML is not going to consider those lines. So it will just be one after the other. And this is at the same level as work experience. So I know it is H3. I will use H3 as well here. H3 slash H3. And the text that we have, 2 experiences. Let's copy all of that text. I know it will be in 1P. Let's first paste it. And I know there is 2 paragraphs. So we can cut this out. We can have 2P. You can have a P here. End it here, the P tag. Similarly, this one. Let's have another P tag and end this P tag. And end everything off with a horizontal rule. So if I run this one, this looks good, but I also need to differentiate between these 2 parts. So what I will do is I will put a B around this. So strong instead of strong, I'm just putting B here because it is faster to type. And then I'm going to put my BR. And in this one, this was the place where it was done. So I will put this one first. And then close the B, the strong tag, and have a break over there. So now the red is gone. And I can also put in a new line just so that it's readable. So we can see it's nicely broken down into 2 different parts. So here we can see we are at a first level of view. The links we have not tried yet. So one example of links we can do is we have a href by default. So this can by hash is the default, and this can have your GitHub, say your GitHub link. So you can have your GitHub link here on top, which is important in a CV. And then you might also want to have your LinkedIn. So let me copy the same thing again and LinkedIn here, and the same thing again. This one will be your Twitter or any of your social. So you can have any number of social, but these 3 are like good to have for a developer profile. So we are trying to make a developer resume. So I've added these 3. So these are right on top, and you can have your actual links here. You can replace this with actual links, and then this will all go to those links. So now we have a basic. It's not as good as what we started from, so we'll slowly move towards this. But we have something, at least a few paragraphs, which we can put live. So how can we put this very quickly online and share it with our friends, family and friends? So and also for feedback, or like we have to improve on this before we can actually send it out and look for jobs. So for that I will go to my GitHub. So my GitHub. So when you go to GitHub, you go to your profile, you have this new repository. So once you click that new repository, it will come to this page. And here you can have any repository name. So you can have resume. So it's not, for me, it's not available because I've already used it. So I can have resume 1, 2, or I can also have totally year based, like something like this, 2023, this is available. So this is, let's have a small description, making my, putting my resume online. So now here it is public by default, and you can add a readme file. If you want to add a readme file, you read readme file and you create the repository. So on creating the repository, so this is what you'll have some instructions on how to use this. For us, I'll just be creating this one. Get started by creating a new file or uploading an existing file. So I'll create a new file in this repository, and the contents are what we have been writing for now. So copy everything, select everything, then copy, and let's paste everything here. So if you paste everything here, and then you think commit the changes, have some wrap, and now you can see you can commit the changes. So for you have to put a name on the file. So by default HTML, we will have an index.html. So .html file because the HTML file, and by default the first file is always index. So I've named it. Let's commit the changes. So here it says create index file. That is the first commit message. And then you commit your changes. So once your code is committed, you can see like here, once you click on the code tab, here is your committed, your code has been committed. So now how do I make this, put this online, right? So if you see inside the code, so my code is already there. And if I see it raw, then it will just show me the raw, whatever we have typed till now. But how do I put this online? So for that, we'll go to the settings. This is my repository name. I go to pages. So you go to GitHub Pages and you tell it which branch to deploy from a branch, not actions, but from a branch. And then you have your main branch by default in your root. And so you're deploying from a branch. This is your main and you're enforcing this. So now you have to save this thing. So let's refresh. So let's go and check if this thing is deploying. So here, whatever you have committed, so there's something called committing, and you have put this particular code, you have put it, you have said, so everything's green. It is added to this repository. And here you said that deploy it from a branch. Classic page experience, and this will go to the root and this as the main. So for some reason this save is not getting activated, probably something is missing. So let me just check. So the code is in proper place, and so about here, you can use the GitHub website, save that change. And this is the link by default where it should be live. So currently it's not live, it shows a 404 error. And so this will be the link where, because you have shared your repo, this is the link where your HTML, that is what you are seeing over here, this HTML will come. Control, I did paste something, Control C. So this is the site. So if everything goes live properly, you should be able to see the site over here. So for some reason it's not coming right now. So waiting for something. The save, there is a main. Save it with a none, then again do main, and now do a save. Yeah, so now I am able to, so GitHub Pages source is saved. Now your source is saved, so it will take maybe a few seconds to go live. So this orange button, this means it's some checks haven't completed, so it's building. So what happens is once you commit your code, there is automatic pipeline, there is automatic process which will take your code and will just figure out that if it has to be processed further before it can be served from a server. So because ours is a very simple template, there is not much processing. So this should not take much time. Here is the details. If you want to go into the details, what exactly is happening, each and every step. So this is good to learn. So you can see in real time that report build status, and now it is going to deploy. So in report build status, let's see what's there. So those are all fine. These are setup job. These are each of these tasks. There are also subtasks. I think you can look into inside. If there are subtasks, what exactly it's doing. So it's not important for us, but when you start working on deployment of websites, then you will have to look into these things. So let's look at usage. So that is the time. So you can see time and deployment has been done. So we already have the link open. So let's refresh and everything starts showing on your page. So let's close this. Let's see that again. So if you go to your main code page, and here I have the link, I have put my link. So click on that and it should open here. Now this is a read, this is a web page kind of view. So to print kind of view, if you see print. So if you are going for print, then it will look like how we print our CV. So it's in an A4 sheet, and once you put in more content, it will look like a proper CV. So here right now, also another, how do I go there? It's like Control P, print. So if you do print, you will get this view, how it looks in a A4 PDF. So you can print as a PDF, and then you can share that PDF. Also, there is another way of looking at, like, making this screen little bit smaller. So you can have this developer tools, you can open this developer tools, and then this CV looks like how it would look when printed on paper. So now this link, particular link, this is now shareable. So if I copy this and I open up an incognito mode window, so now this is directly in the incognito mode, and you can share this link. So you can take this link, you can share this, get feedback from people, like how to make changes, and you have a code website. You have a website which is live, and it also has the contents, and it also has all the resume points that you have put in. So this is a good start. We will also keep on making this better. We will, in the next lessons, we'll try to make this as good as this or even better than this. So we need to learn some few more tags, how to make this tables, how to make this layout, because here you see this is not in one, what we have been doing till now. This is like one layout, it just flows in one direction. But here we have layouts, we have different columns, we have split in rows. So these are new tags that we will be learning soon. But for now, congratulate yourself, you have your website live and you can share this link. So happy learning, and see you on the next lesson.